Welcome to Moss Park TV. This is Victoria, and today we bring you a special report on City Set to approve motion for Moss Park Arena transition, enhancing community access. On June 18th, Toronto's Executive Committee deliberated on a pivotal motion concerning Moss Park Arena in a bid to enhance accessibility and equity in the recreational facilities. Spearheaded by Councillor Paula Fletcher, the motion advocates transitioning the governance and operations of the arena from its current volunteer-led board of management to direct oversight by the city. Located at 140 Sherbourne St, Moss Park Arena is one of 8 arenas in Toronto currently managed by local volunteer boards. These boards oversee the arena's operations, including scheduling and programming for activities such as hockey leagues and figure skating. Pending City Council approval on June 26, 2024, the motion mandates the development of a comprehensive transition plan. Now let's hear from our speakers on this pivotal decision. Here are the key moments from the meeting, featuring Andy Marcus, Chair of the Moss Park Board, Councillor Chris Moyse from Toronto Centre, and Councillor Paula Fletcher, who proposed the motion to adopt the item as amended.
The Moss Park only have one speaker. Chair of the Moss Park Board, item 15.5, there's only one speaker. Andy Marcus, are you here? May I trouble you to speak to us? Mr. Marcus, you have 5 minutes.
Hello, and thank you for your time. My name is Andy Marcus. I'm the chair of the Moss Park Board Arena. There's been a motion put forward, unbeknownst to us, so we weren't aware of the motion being put forward to move Moss Park from a board-managed arena to a city-operated arena. And we were not involved in the process of assessment that actually accompanied the report that was submitted today. Having said that, we do believe the report fairly reflects the current situation of how Moss Park Arena is operated by the board, but I wanted to add some color to this submission or this motion. There is no recommendation in the motion, so I'm not sure what gets voted on. There is a notion in the motion that asks for equitable access to ice time. On that note, I wanted to provide some information. Moss Park Arena runs a house league every Saturday from September through to March. We have 300 kids that come through our doors. The house league is free for kids in the community. Not only do they get to learn to play hockey, we equip them with equipment if they can't afford it. It's a valuable piece of the community. It's been running for over 40 years, so it's a staple within the community. Moss Park also runs programs in the summer for kids that are very affordable. That includes lunch programs at $350 for a week for a child to join. So this is a very important contribution to the community. We have a women's pickup skate that's been running for over 40 years and still runs. It's generational. The schools in the community have access to the ice as needed at no cost during the day. So there's a lot of value that the rink is being put into the community today, and I challenge anyone to find a city-operated rink that offers more value to the community. These programs are able to run because the arena staff manages the programming of the facility. Should this move to a city-operated arena, that program would be outsourced to a third party, and we cannot understand how that will generate more community involvement. I'd also like to share that the staff at the arena, while they run these programs, is very entrenched in the community. If you can imagine spending all your time at the corner of Sherbourne and Queen, there's a lot of action that happens there and a lot of stuff that the arena, by default of where they're located, ends up managing and getting involved in. So the police use the rink, use our video surveillance. So there's a lot of involvement of that arena and the programs that they offer, or that we offer to the community. And we believe that will be lost if this is converted to a city-run rink. We have the Toronto Figure Skating Club operates out of Moss Park Arena. We're one of 8 board-managed rinks in the city, and if you'll notice, all those 8 managed rinks are able to run skating clubs, figure skating clubs. None of the city-operating rinks will offer that same service. So there's immense value in what we bring to the community, and we're trying to understand what the long-term goal of this motion is, because there's actually no recommendation put forward in the report. So having said all that, we'd really like to, first of all, understand what the long-term goal here is. If there's no recommendation in the report, what are you actually voting on? And I think the real issue at stake for Moss Park Arena is the lack of capital funding. So we've been in a position where we've been requesting funding. The rink and the facility is not up to standard. We have a new subway stop going in next door. There's been investment to tear down John Ennis Recreation next door, and we sit right in the middle with no investment to maintain our rink and the facility up to standard. So I wanted to add some color to the motion to understand what we actually bring to the community, and ask that everyone take some thought on this before voting to move forward to move this to a city-managed rink. And as I said, we have no idea what that vote is on because there's no recommendations in the report. So we'd like some clarity on that front. And I think that's it for me, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any questions to the deputants? Nope. Thank you very much. On this item, Councillor Moyes.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I'm not sure I had a
Councillor
question
Matlow.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
unless you ask a question
Yes,
first.
sorry. Councillor Moyes first.
I'm actually going to speak, no questions.
May I just ask a question of staff just regarding
Yes, please.
the deputant's comments about this being news to him and his board? Could you just clarify, both for us and obviously for him as well, specifically what is being recommended, and also if due diligence was done regarding ensuring that the key stakeholders were involved in this discussion?
Through the chair. So this request was requested through May City Council meeting for us to report back. So that was the point the request was made. In that time, we had a discussion with the board more for awareness of what we were doing in terms of our next steps. The intent of this report is it's really a preliminary assessment of what would be required. So staff have not included any recommendations. It's for information. If there were direction to do something further and to do a transition plan, there would be more engagement at that time, including with the board.
Okay, so to relieve perhaps some fears, nothing that would be happening today will just, definitively change anything. It's just about sort of coming up with more information about if we were to do that, and there would be an opportunity for them to be engaged in that conversation?
Yes, so through the chair, for the staff report, there are no recommendations.
Okay.
I understand there is a motion, and if adopted with a transition plan, that we would be engaging at that point.
Okay.
Okay. There is a receipt for information recommendation in front of, Councillor Fletcher.
Well, Councillor Moyes has, I'm moving a motion on behalf of Councillor.
May I trouble you to take your?
Sorry.
Yep.
Did you want
Is
to
your
speak?
mic on?
Yeah, my mic is on. Did you want to speak to that? I have a motion, but it's on behalf of Councillor Moyes, so he might want to speak ahead of that, Mayor, and then I'll move the motion.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. So this, as mentioned by the deputant, there's 8 rinks that are managed in the way they are. This is pre-amalgamation. At the school board, we also had similar items where, amalgamation happened 20 plus years ago, but there are legacy things that was, grandfathered in. And these rings are one of those things. And what I'm asking here is to not dissolve the board today, but for staff to actually report back in the 4th quarter of 2024. It's a 2-step process, and hopefully in 2025 to actually bring it in-house. The city actually already manages about 70 rings, and they do it well. The Moss Park Arena ring itself is right in Moss Park. There's a lot of marginalized people who live in the area, and quite frankly, speaking to them, they don't actually use the rink as they would like to. And I think it's an opportunity, especially skating. Skating is, as we know, is not something that the average Canadian marginalized person can actually have access to when it comes to skates and other things. It's important that, and hockey, yes, hockey. it's important that we actually make sure, using the equity lens, which I try to do in this chamber whenever I can, to make sure that we have equitable access to our city resources. And that's the intent of the change I'm suggesting and recommending here. For me, the status quo is not good enough. And I know in the short time I've been here, I've actually tried to even try and make sure that people on the board are actually local people, because there were not any local people from Toronto Centre on the board for some time. And so that too is very telling. Something else I've tried to do is to diversify the board, because the people who live in Moss Park, you know, they don't seem to be reflected on the board themselves. And I had to take issue with that as well. And so it's because of that and many other reasons that I'm actually I'm bringing this motion forth to make it more equitable at the end of the day. And again, I'm not asking for the board to resolve today. I'm not asking for a report back in the quarter of 2024. And hopefully in 2025, we'll bring it in-house.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Councillor Fletcher, the motion you want to move on behalf of Councillor Moyes?
Yes, Mayor. It was pre-circulated, and there's the motion to come back with a plan transition plan to change the governance and operation of Moss Park Arena, city-operated arena. And I think you've heard from the local councillor and from an equity champion that there's probably more to do, and it is very hard with the Board of Management because it's not directly operated. And I do appreciate everything that the Board of Management has done, and I'm sure that once a city-operated arena, that the important programs, as the 40-year Women's Shinny and other Learn to Skate programs, would be maintained. But sitting right in Moss Park, in the heart of downtown East, there is an obligation by the city to ensure that there is equitable access and an equity programming, which I know the General Manager of Parks, Forestry and Recreation is very aware of, and is taking that to heart very carefully. I see that there's really not a lot of difference. It's not that the city would be losing money in this transition that I can see in the report that was in front of us, but that there are times when there's a directly operated service that can be, the goals and requirements of which can be made more clear to staff through City Council than through a Board of Management. It's very difficult to do that, as we often find. So thank you. With this, I'll move that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. That this is actually the motion circulated by Councillor Moyes on June 13th in our agenda 5 days ago. Any questions to Councillor Fletcher? If not, any other speaker? All those in favor of Councillor Fletcher's motion? The opposed? Carry. Thank you. To another item.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out all of our social media platforms. For more information, check out our website.